things that are most broadly supported, the things that have the most wide and most broad support. You take those things. Those are the things I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like who won the last election. I'm talking about like just the things that pull the highest at the list, like consistently at the top of the things that pull the best, like paid family medical leave, for instance.
Paid family medical leave told at the top of the list? I don't think so.
Whether you can afford those things after you establish whether they're broadly popular or not. Broad popularity doesn't matter if you don't have any money in the bank.
Yeah, but I mean, like my point here is like we have all these really popular things, okay? People just like. It doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. People just like them. They want them to happen. So it doesn't matter what your alleged cost concerns are. I'm sure there's
it's not an
there are ways. Look, Marshall. Look, every time you interrupt me, I lose track of where I am. It's just rude, Marshall. Okay, it's just rude. Talk to Brad about that. He has.
How about the things we're talking about?
Look, Marshall, you're still talking, dude. You're still talking, dude.
You know
what? Just fuck it. You guys can sit here and talk to each other.
We should do it. The next question that follows broadly popular is, can you afford the damn thing? That's the question.
Well, I think I know there's a lot of people in my country that feel the same way as him. I mean, I think a broader question is like, does your average citizen have enough good access to accurate information to know what to demand from the government? So I know that economics is a very difficult field. There's a hell of a lot of moving parts to it,
Yeah, there certainly are. Like I said, it's not necessarily about whether it polls well, it's about whether you can do it. Something may poll well,
right,
and you may really want it, but what if you can't afford it, or what if you can't do it? The doable question is like a critical question as to whether any of those policies are even affordable or not.
Right, and then, Marshall, so my family's my sister's in Chicago, my brother-in-law is American, and there's certain things that they like and love about both countries, right? Fair enough. Canada and the United States, both wonderful, really great countries, and there is no perfect place in this world, but I understand where he's coming from because, on the surface view of things, there are very, very wealthy people, and the largest companies in the world, I think, are mostly in the United States, a lot in China as well. And so, from a layperson's point of view, well, there's billionaires, nearly trillionaires, massive companies, the groundwork, the soil in the United States, the economy is fertile enough to give birth to these wonderful things. Why shouldn't everybody just be taxed across the board? And again, there's no such thing as free healthcare in Canada. It's not free. We all pay for it, right? Just through our taxes, it's higher. And so, if the United States can afford to grow these massive companies, then it should be, on the surface, able to afford universal healthcare, right? So it does.
It fundamentally mistakes one principle. It mistakes the idea that companies can grow large, and that the ability of those companies to grow large is the government's responsibility or fault. Right? Yes, companies receive subsidies from government, certainly, surely.
Sure.
But the reason companies are broadly popular, or at least broadly successful, it's not about government, or it's not about what government did.
Right.
It's about what the market did. And I think one of the problems is people associate that wealth belonging to the government, and it doesn't. It belongs to the government.
Right, but in Canada, right, it's the people that pay for the health care, right? Just as an example, right? So we all get taxed. And then if there is this broad support, if everybody, like he's saying, if like 70% of the United States population is saying, hey man, just go ahead, tax me 4,000 across the whole board, tax everybody here the same amount, then let's just go for it. This like general, base level healthcare, right? And then if you want something better, then you can go, you can buy additional healthcare.
I think it wouldn't be 4,000. I hate the argument.
You don't think so?
Boils it down to it would be $4,000. No, it wouldn't. They would tell you to be $4,000, and then when the government decided to hike the price, guess what? You have to pay whatever the fucking hike price was.
Right. I don't know. I have to check. Yeah.
It's putting the ability to get healthcare in the government's hands. That's a bad idea. If the government has the ability to hold and deny healthcare, then where else are you supposed to go? And if you have a nationalized healthcare system, that's exactly what that is. The government.
Yeah, but a lot of things are nationalized. Right? Yeah, but there's a lot of things that are nationalized, right? Like the roads, right? So I do understand the slippery slope thing. Like, don't give the government too much money or else they'll mismanage it. And for sure, it's a problem here in Canada, for sure. And governments have proven time and time again that they do mismanage money.
Our federal government doesn't manage all the roads. Like, see, again, it doesn't.
Correct me. Yeah. I don't know.
It's the national highway system is managed by the federal government, but the road I'm currently fucking on right now, the county road, is not managed by the federal government. Like,
yeah, this is why the universal health care plan in Canada, which is actually kind of a misnomer, it's crumbling at its big hands right now. And again, I'll do a room on this. I don't know why people constantly want to deviate. And the fucking Canadians always come up and go, we have universal health care. No, you have a welfare country that is existence upon the U.S. for it.
Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that, Brad. Come on. I mean, to be fair.
why? Why do you think it's more complicated? Your infrastructure projects are at the behest mostly dominated by the U.S. markets and companies, right?
I don't know.
50% of shipping.
I'm not a specialist in it. I do know that if we turn off our energy, you guys go dark.
No, that's actually the inverse, because we actually did that once. The Niagara Falls went dark. It had a brownout early 2000s. It affected the entire seaboard, eastern seaboard, out to the Midwest.
I think we're going to get into like a chest bumping match here and get off topic, but if you want to be more detailed, go ahead.
It's like if you continue to interrupt me, I just move you down and I don't care at that point. But damn right, it's my room. So, again, we had this happen with Niagara Falls. It went to a brownout. The power shut down. Canada was screaming, and it was just a little switch in Ohio that caused that problem. The U.S. controls the majority of the oil. You do provide oil, but you don't provide it east to west in your country. You rely on the United States to do that, particularly 3 states, Montana and the Dakotas. So you don't even have a national pipeline to actually...
What's your point? That's your point.
So again, here, let me show you this. This is where Canadians just need to be in the audience. I don't like you guys. I really don't. Clubhouse has really made me think I can't stand Canadians. I don't know what it is. I used to chase Canadian girls when I was a teenager in high school. I thought they were all crazy because they were, I'm going to be honest, they're the ones that let you feel them up and they put out the most. But quite frankly, no, I've really grown to detest Canada. And it's not because of Trudeau. It's actually because of the people who come on here to discuss American politics from a Canadian country and then somehow think own it and win on these arguments. And you don't even understand our system, yet you're so quick to jump into the fray and then quote like Marxist or some other dogmatic bullshit and then try to tell me how I'm going to work in my room. So Poodle, again, some gay man in Canada on a welfare system selling perfume out of his mommy's basement is not going to impress me because you can quote Karl Marx or whatever freaking philosopher you have. It's not. And then brag about the healthcare system in Canada because it's the only thing you know and you haven't experienced anything else. We have socialized healthcare systems in here. We have different payers. We have a variety. We have your own system incorporated in many other systems. You just don't know it. And with that said, I'm going to end this room because it is 4:30. Pepe has another room going for those I'm not insecure, dude. Like, you literally just really fascinatingly make it dull every time you comment. But I'm gonna tell you guys to follow. Pepe has some fireworks going on. I think Jazzy's got a room going on. I think there's some tit for tat. I think there's something going on in a room called the Muff tonight. They're all like going through. I guess there's some drama in the clubhouse streets. I know for a fact there is, because I've actually been named in it. Happy Keegan got clipped, and all his little minions got clipped. Probably shouldn't have doxed my work address. Probably shouldn't have tried to dox my daughter's address. Probably shouldn't have tried to dox like anything about me. Probably a good idea, but you know, to each their own. Again, these are still the same guys that never show up when they promise. But I'm okay with that. I appreciated the emails that you tried to send to the work, except most of you are too dumb to actually figure out where I work.
Figure out how to send an email to the first place.
Yeah, they sent emails to like Texas Children Health Plan, and they didn't even know where they're going. And finally, I had to reach out because no one had a clue as to what they were sending. For the record, for the FBI reporting, this one's my favorite fucking one. There used to be a guy, Shane, on here who used to report to the FBI all the time, any conservative or Republican. We've all been reported. I've been reported, I don't know, 670,000 times. You're not going to get anywhere with it. The FBI is not concerned with a guy like me.
Shane.
Yeah, see?
He was a pain in the ass. Sorry I was so mean to Elliot. I can't stand it when people don't use their fucking brains. It bothers me a lot.
Yeah, I know, that's most Canadians. But I mean, overall, I will say this, you go ahead and report your FBI thing. I'm just going to advise people. I was right on the Edmund campaign or the John Kitover campaign. Track your money. A lot of you are foolish to have given that man money because I hate to tell you this, under certain federal election things, your information is disclosed. Your information is now in the hands of, guess who? John Kitover. That guy, the yoga guy who sits there and does yoga in Fruit of the Loom tighty whities with urine stains on it. I tried to warn many of you, please don't donate to him. This is a scam campaign. It's just literally everything about it is just a joke, a troll. He's not serious. Nobody's going to actually go and elect him. And I think the fact that he's trying to do it for some kind of clubhouse attention is fucking weird. We've had people try to campaign on Clubhouse, Tom Slocum, what's his name, Christian, Lamar, they all tried to campaign on Clubhouse for their seats. You can't campaign from Clubhouse. If they were serious about getting elected, they would be in the streets. Yep. So when you hear this, please stop going into Kitover and trying to follow him. And most of you, careful with what he says because he's got a public office there. He's open to slander. He's open to criticism. He decided to put his name on that. And yes, it is a scam. And yes, I will call it out. And no, there's nothing he can do about it. Is there anything else, Patricia, Marshall, you guys want to add?
No, I can't think of anything. You said everything I want to say.
All right. And with that said, I hope to see you guys on the streets out there. You guys take care. We may do another room Monday, so be aware. 1 o'clock Monday. I think we're going to stay in this format. We'll keep doing as many rooms as we can, and hopefully we'll have another great conversation. And just remember, Patricia, she's a queen in here. You got to give her respect. She's going to chop you. She's mean. Shit. Stop pissing off the ladies in this room. With that said, this is the Political Compass, and we'll see you out there. Make sure you go vote. Make sure you get involved. Take care, and we will see you guys later.
your words.
They're being hidden from. Makes me more curious and more more focused on. Yeah, I think we need to see what is being hidden from us, and I don't know how we're going to find out what the quid pro quo was to get Ghislaine Maxwell the cushy treatment, which is a violation of the protocols of the Justice Department that she's being held in. But then violating protocols is a specialty of the Trump administration and Donald Trump, so it's not all that surprising. But I'd like to, it's something that ultimately needs to be discovered and needs to be learned by the American people. And I'll land there. Thanks.
To your point, Alex, I fear, and I would not be surprised if my fears prove true, that whatever the Oversight Committee ultimately releases in with regards to the files that they received today will be unsatisfying. They almost made up a new word. Unsatisfying to the people who have a thirst for knowledge over this issue. I hope I'm wrong, but I fear that I am right. I think what we're seeing today with these Maxwell transcripts is just a precursor to all of that. And the way that interview was conducted, by not asking the question that I suggested should have been the very second question, and Chris just articulated as well. If there is no list of people who participated in this depravity of defiling minors, young women and teenagers, maybe children, what do you know about it? You were there. If that question is not asked, was the non-asking of that question an omission, or was it a commission? Seriously, how could you not ask that question? It's beyond credibility that a person of that stature conducting an interview of such great importance and of such great interest to the American people who ultimately the government works for. And I think we as Americans have a right to demand that these individuals be brought to justice, or if the statute of limitations has run out, at least bring them to justice in the public sphere. That question wasn't asked. Omission? Are you that incompetent that you don't ask the logical follow-up question that even Chris, who's not, as he pointed out, a journalist or an investigator, would know to ask? To me, that's an act of commission, not an act of omission. It appears to be omission, but I think it's commission.
So by commission, you mean extending the cover-up?
Yes, of course.
Okay, it's just a word I don't normally use, commission and omission.
Right. I don't normally use it either. I don't normally use it either. But in this case, look, you can lead a witness. I can lead an interviewee, by the questions I ask them, in order to get the kind of response. Not that the response is necessarily a lie, but the kind of response that I want, because it's what I'm looking for in the interview, which you should never do. You should try to find out as much information as possible, and then you go through your notes or through your tapes or through your video, and you decide what in that you're going to use in what you report to the public. But you don't try to hide things. You don't try to avoid asking questions. This guy avoided asking the obvious question. So you would normally say, Alex, he screwed up. It was an act of omission. It was like he screwed up. He didn't mean to do it. He's just incompetent. No, my argument is, and that's why I use the term, it's an act of commission or commission, commission, because by not asking it, he purposely avoids the question being answered. How can she claim if that question is asked that she doesn't know? I don't recall. She promised, for what it's worth, that she would be forthcoming this time. So everything's on the table. You can ask her anything. Unless there was an agreement made prior to the interview that this question would not be asked, which puts her, honestly, it's a Fifth Amendment issue for her. And so
there are agreements that are made prior to whatever happened in the deposition with the lawyers. Of course there are, but there's also on the record and off the record conversations in these irregular proceedings that we are likely not privy to and probably don't show up in the transcript itself. It's not like being in a regular court of law.
I've had times when I'm interviewing somebody, and generally the people who try to control what I ask, and I don't do a lot of this kind of reporting, have to do with celebrities, entertainment celebrities, right? There's a great interest. I don't do this kind of gossip reporting, but there's a great interest about the various celebrities and their personal lives. I don't know why. I don't care who's sleeping with who. I don't care who's divorcing who. I don't care who's marrying who. I'm interested in their art. And that's on the rare occasions that I have been in a position of interviewing people whose names you would recognize. I'm there to interview them about their project. I'm not there to interview them about, who they slept with last night. And invariably, the publicist will say, you can interview this person, but you can't ask them this, and this. No, you can't tell me what not to ask. You can ask me, but I'm not going to agree, as it so happens in each case, based on my journalistic style and what I'm interested in covering, I would have asked those questions anyway. But the point is, I'm not going to go into an interview with preconditions. If I get an opportunity to interview the president, and Levitt says to me, you can talk to the president, but this question, this and that is off the table, I'd either walk away or I would just refuse to adhere to that or agree to it. I would adhere to it if I agreed to it, but I would refuse to agree to it. He doesn't have to answer any question I ask him. It's his prerogative not to answer any question I ask him. But don't tell me what I can or can't ask him. This really smells like there was an agreement what she could be asked and what she wouldn't be asked. And we are left with a whole bunch of nothing. 2 days of transcripts that, at least thus far, what's been reported. There may be, as I said, an Easter egg or two in there, and I'll correct my assessment because it's only based on partial information. If I'm wrong about this, I'll correct my assessment on Monday publicly because I want to always set the record straight with anything that I say or report. And if I misstate something, I'll own it. I don't care. I'll own it. We're all humans. But it really, at this point, appears, and I think it's a logical conclusion based on what we know, that they purposely didn't ask, the $1 million question that you need to get to.
And that is that the lawyer for the Justice Department, who represents the people of the United States, and the lawyer for Ghislaine Maxwell, had the same goals.
Well, herein lies an issue that we have seen in the previous Trump administration, the way he viewed Bill Barr, and we're clearly seeing it in this administration. You see, what you just said is true. The Justice Department represents the people of the United States, not the President of the United States. But in this administration, I think that every department is greatly influenced by the desire to represent what is best in the eyes of the president. And of course, that leads to additional questions about what the president knew. Not to suggest that he was involved in anything, but what he knew about his longtime, very close friend. They had a falling out, Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you, Alex. We'll move on. Scott.
Thank you.
Scott.
Sorry, I was
That's okay. That's okay.
couldn't find my button there. Yeah. Well, look, I don't know if they're hiding the truth or not. Very interesting guy that she seemed to go out of her way. I mean, it's pretty funny, the whole thing about, oh, I just admire his achievement of becoming president. I mean, this is hilarious, right? I mean, look, I mean, I don't think you have to be a genius to see what. I mean, I think it seems the implications here. This, you know, she got moved to a country club for, you know, trying to help dispel the Epstein, you know, the Epstein mess, which is really becoming a mess. I mean, I think this is interesting. It's one of these things that we've said before. You know, so many of the issues with Trump are, because we're just so partisan, it doesn't really matter, right? He sends troops to DC, right? If you're anti-Trump, you know, yeah, as I am, I try to be fair, but you know, I'm a Democrat, and people know my thoughts on a lot of things. I try to be fair, though. Yeah, if you're a Democrat, you say, you know, this sucks. You know, democracy, you know, it's being eroded. Norms are, you know, collapsing, and the sky is falling. If you're a Republican, great, law and order. You know, these cities are a mess. Everything seems to go so partisan, except the Epstein thing, right? Because as we said before, this is religion. So out of his base, this is something that they believe, right? That you know, the conspiracies and the elite and the you know, the child pornography.
But wait a minute, this is not a conspiracy. This is on the record. There are convictions.
You're right. Now, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy. I'm saying it plays into, what it does, though, is the Epstein thing plays into the idea that there's these elites and they do things like go to Epstein Island and they run things like child pornography rings, right? So it's where this sort of rubs up against some of the conspiracy thoughts about the elite, right? So I mean, this is the Epstein thing, which I know is not a conspiracy, but it plays a mythological role for some of his base who are conspiracy theory laden and think, you know, that you know, probably in the Epstein files, there's a lot of stuff that maybe not announced, like, you know, sex files from Area 51 or whatever. I know, but obviously Trump is worried about something, right? And is attempting to obfuscate and do all these things and throw up all these distractions. And this is sort of a, you know, one of the efforts to make it go away. And I don't, you know, we'll see. I mean, I think this is not, I mean, I don't think her coming out and saying that Trump is fantastic is going to end the story yet. But we shall see.
Thank you, Scott. I'm going to let Marshall get his critical thinking form legs before I go to him, because you know, he's coming in mid-stride, and go to Murad first and then back to Marshall. Murad. Murad, are you there? Okay, we'll jump to Mojo.
Hey Gary, it's Mojo. Thanks for having me on. I think that these Epstein files implicate so many people, from Bill Gates to Bill Clinton to 100 other people, and including women who may have been involved in philandering and abuse. So Thomas Massie, Ro Khan, and 6 other representatives have signed a co-sponsored bill to bring onto the floor before Speaker Johnson by mid-September, and September 3rd or mid-September, they're planning on bringing 9 victims of Epstein to the steps of Congress, where they're going to interview them and let them give their stories. So justice is coming, though it is slow. And I agree, it is for the victims, and hopefully the perpetrators will face justice. However, I just view a lot of this as Trump derangement syndrome. I know there's a lot of photos of Trump with Epstein and Ghislaine, but I think a lot of people don't realize that Epstein got everybody. So for anybody, to project all of this onto Trump is absurdity, because there's hundreds of people involved in this. So in my opinion, anybody who is, all Donald Trump all the time, you have to realize there's a lot of other criminals involved in this that may supersede Trump. Trump may not have been involved in any of this sexual abuse. And, hopefully Pam Bondi, who I think might be a little slow, in terms of bringing justice and her operations, I think nonetheless, with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino bringing down Bolton today, I think a lot of deep state actors and a lot of billionaires who are funding the super PAC to defeat Thomas Massie are very worried about legal repercussions, and they are lawyering up. So this is Mojo. Thank you, Gary.
And Mojo, let me ask you this though: if this is Trump derangement syndrome, right? If it ends to be this, what? But why is Trump? If he's not implicated, and so many people are implicated, people that he doesn't like, people like Bill Clinton, people like Bill Gates, if all these people, these elites that his base doesn't like, that he doesn't like, are implicated, why doesn't he lead in charge to release the damn shit? Why is he being so cagey? Why isn't he just forthright? Why doesn't he just end the story tomorrow and say, I'll go on Fox News Saturday, I'll come on and I'll read the files myself, okay? Why is he being so cagey?
Mojo, I'll say it again, because it's not just Trump. There's hundreds of people, and these are national security files.
So he's protecting these elites, you're saying?
He's protecting the U.S. government, and he's protecting contributors to his campaign. There are people that contributed to his campaign because they want these files never released. So that's why he's not releasing the files. And it's not up to him. It's up to the Department of Justice and his trust and faith in Pam Bondi. And today she did take action. They are preempting what Thomas Massie and Ro Khan are putting before Congress and Speaker Johnson. They're getting ahead of.
Wait a minute, are you suggesting that the Justice Department is acting independently of the White House in releasing these Maxwell transcripts and audio file?
I think they are coordinating this to get ahead of it, because they know that Thomas Massie is putting forth a co-sponsored bill to Speaker Mike Johnson and forcing a vote on the release of the Epstein files. So they are going to redact and claim it's national security and prevent the September co-sponsored bill from taking place.
Except those files, unless you're talking about other files, I don't know what was delivered, were delivered to the House Oversight Committee today, and the Oversight Committee said that they will be released but redacted to protect the victims anyway. So what is there to get ahead of?
I just told you Thomas Massie is putting forth a co-sponsored bill.
Right, I heard you say that. How is that bill, how does that differ from what the Oversight Committee has already stated that they will do? In other words, why is that bill even necessary? Perhaps that bill is just grandstanding.
Well, what I'm saying, that what the Department of Justice did today preempts the September bill. So they're trying to get ahead of this by redacting it and saying, what are you putting a co-sponsored bill for before the floor? We've already released the files. So that's what they're doing. They're essentially preparing the cup.
So you know what? I would say that if you were a Democrat, I would accuse you of Trump derangement syndrome for the comments that you just made.
I'm trying to accurately describe the situation as I best observe it, Gary.
I know, but you were the one who admonished people not to put all the blame on this on Trump, and then you pretty much put all the blame on this on Trump. And I don't think anybody has suggested, and I have said quite the opposite several times today, many times in the past, but since it was lost on you, maybe you weren't in the room at the time, I have said that in this forum, I have been steadfastly adhering to my role as a moderator to not allow anybody to allege that Donald Trump has done anything illegal in spite of his past close personal relationship with Epstein, and then you defended against that accusation that was not made. That was not made on at least not on this stage, maybe elsewhere.
Well, I'm
but
pretty
not
sure
here.
I heard Merrill attack Donald Trump as being a pedophile.
No, he did. She did not. She did not. She attacked Trump, but those words never came out of her mouth. And if they did, she would have been subject to a potential slander allegation. And she is in the law profession and knows better than that.
Well, the room is recorded, so you'll have to go back to watch the live.
I don't have to go back to it, and if the room is being recorded, it's being recorded against the rules of Clubhouse.
Gary, just a heads up, he's a total troll. This is like his 27th account. He goes around, he literally has 27 phones that he records. His name is John Kitover.
Oh, is this another John? Is this another John?
Yes, this is John Kitover.
Okay.
Total troll.
And it's candidate for Congress 2025, John Kitover.
Oh boy, here we go again with John. Okay, thank you very much. And don't misrepresent what I said, other people have said, and what Merrill said. That was you know what? That was a complete, maybe I'll give you a vote. Because, to tell you the truth, with all the lies that are coming out of Congress.
He's not here anymore.
Yeah, he probably is. He may not be here.
Maybe he's on an old account.
Of course. Have you ever seen photographs of his cell phone farm? He's got more cell phones than Verizon. I'm not kidding you. I'm serious. He publishes pictures of his basement or his living room, some room was taken over, and he's got dozens of phones there, all recording Clubhouse. He's still here. And you know what? Given the fact that he misrepresented someone, he's actually perfect for becoming a member of Congress who goes on cable TV and misrepresents the facts and misrepresents what people say, because I fact check. It's not just the bloviators on cable TV. It's the guests, and the guests are often elected officials. And I hear what they say, and they lie all the time. They misrepresent what other people say and do. And Kitover just misrepresented directly what we all heard with our own ears that someone said in the room. So he's perfect. So vote for him. Vote for him. Move into his district and vote for him, because he'll fit right in that club. Kevin. And by the way, we are, oh, wait a minute, Kevin, hold on. I apologize. First of all, I want to announce it's 6:01 Eastern Time, which means we're going into extra time. Everybody on the stage obviously will get an opportunity to speak. But folks who are waiting in queue, we will not bring you up to the stage, not this week, but click on the link above and join in the chat that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Facebook Messenger. Marshall, I see your phone icon popped up. Does that mean you're no longer with us, or are you here? Okay, I don't want anybody to misrepresent what I just said. When I said he's no longer with us, I'm not saying that he is dead. Kevin.
Hi. I was hoping to get some of your journalistic expertise. Often when I look into these things, when there's been, when these issues have been through the courts,
I like to go to the courthouse website and go to the public documents, and I was looking through Giseline, whatever her Maxwell, the court records from her in the Southern District of New York.
The G is a G. Galeen.
Galeen.
Uh-huh.
All right, thanks. I was looking. It looks like you have the chat turned off for this. I was going to put the link to.
You can put the link up on the chat above in the Facebook Messenger. Go ahead and put it there.
Okay, so it turns out this was a the link that I'm putting in is for an appeal. So she's already appealed and gained nothing. So I don't know how she got this, sweetheart deal recently. So it's not the original case, it's an appeal that this is. And I was just trying to I found other court documents a lot easier, and the New York Southern District Court is not so friendly. But what I'm curious about is looking at the court documents and what was supplied and submitted for evidence that was sufficient to convict her, if that is in contradiction to anything that's being released now.
Well, I think what was released today was her denying any existence of any evidence that anybody else did anything nefarious. And there's a great summary that I saw at the NBC News website that just is kind of like the bullet points of what she said. And I'm sure others have done that as well. And I'm sure as they cull through it, there'll be more that's posted. I would recommend going there to get that kind of an answer.
Cool.
Okay, I think the president is, well, I guess he isn't right now. He's not live. I apologize. I was going to say he's responding to all this, but apparently right at this moment he's not. So anyway, I'm sure when we break up this gathering, there'll be something there from the White House. One thing this president is really good at is communicating his thoughts to the public. He loves talking to the reporters who he claims to hate.
There's a good interview of Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller. He was on The Apprentice, and he was friendly with Donald Trump. And he said when they would do the filming of the boardroom aspect of that show, there was no boardroom. It was a TV set that everybody was really forced to refer to as the boardroom and not the set. And Penn Jillette's an entertainment, and he kept calling it the set and getting in trouble. But he said they would film for 12 hours, and Donald Trump has an uncanny energy of just talking. And he said that you would have to sit there during the tapings, and 12 hours of taping would get them like 4 minutes that would be in the show, and 12 and a half hours of it would be incoherent.
I have to say that rings true based on what we have seen publicly with the president.
Yeah.
If you listen to how he answers questions, and it sounds like it's coherent when he's speaking. It's a train of thought that's going on, and you can't pin him down because whatever he's thinking at that moment as a possible response to the issue that you have raised, he's like thinking it out all loud. And he'll use terms like, well, but we'll see. And so, but then since he's the president of the United States, traditionally when the president makes a pronouncement such as that, he's sending some kind of a signal, sometimes to adversaries like Mr. Putin, for example. But it doesn't mean that that's really where he lands on an issue at that moment. It just means stuff's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, there's another bit of journalism that's come out recently that I need to go back and fact check, but it's about a modeling agent in France that was repelled from France. He wasn't able to work anymore because he had sexual inappropriate charges in France, and he wasn't able to practice anymore. So he came here and he was working for Jeffrey Epstein, and one of the talent that he was managing working under Jeffrey Epstein was Melania Trump. And he's the one that introduced Melania to, and Melania was basically a indentured servant under this guy and released into Trump's matrimony.
I don't know how accurate that is. I've heard similar stuff out there, but I would encourage people to research that and determine them for themselves the veracity of that information. Thank you, Kevin. Marshall.
I have no idea if they're hiding anything, but it's interesting they got the stuff released. Hopefully they'll release more. I'm not, believe it or not, this issue is not an issue that is of primary interest to me, weirdly enough. I like its ability to like compromise politicians is interesting, but Jeffrey Epstein in and of himself is not very interesting to me. So I don't, other than I hope we find the truth. I really don't have much of an opinion. I want the truth, whatever the truth actually is.
Thank you, Marshall. We'll go to Murad. Are you back with us, Murad? He left the stage. He came back. There you go, buddy.
Good evening, Gary. Good evening, Merrill, Marshall, Scott. Gary, it was 2 hours ago that for the first time I heard the name of Maxwell. I was so tired I didn't study about it. But I have a short suggestion as a title for Monday, because we are in expose of second war between Iran and Israel, and it affects all the world. That's a suggestion, if you can, for Monday topic about Iran, the war between Iran and Israel. Thank you very much, Gary. I'm in the audience.
Thank you, David. David, here we go.
Yeah, hi, Gary. I got on stage a little late, but I think there's an absolute attempt, obviously, to shield and hide what might be in these transcripts. Anytime you take time to release something as volatile as this, and look, I mean, Biden had a chance to potentially lampoon Trump when he was in power, when he was in office. He had all the levers of the intelligence apparatuses, and nothing happened then. Either there's stuff that links not just Trump, as been alluded to in the stage here, but other powerful individuals. Recall it was this potential arrangement or friendship that Bill Gates had with Epstein that led to the divorce of his wife of many years, Melinda Gates. Maybe her email antennae or spidey sense indicated that there was something wrong with that relationship to where she couldn't stand it, and cost him billions of dollars in a divorce. So you don't take down these people very easily, Gary, without there being a lot of collateral damage. And of course, Trump still has to govern, and he has to make decisions, and he has to control the military. And we got the Ukraine, we got Israel. We have all these very, very hot, international issues that are coming down on, raining down on the whole world. And yet, we want to kick tires with regard to this relationship with a man who's been dead for 5-6 years. But I think the proof's in the pudding. The relocation of Ghislaine to that, as Scott called, a country club, says it all. I mean, look, this woman knew everything. She can pin things on people. And, were it not for the pardoning ability of Trump, whether or not that'll happen remains to be seen. But I think ultimately, Gary, this would not vote, even if Trump is named in there. Can you imagine the scandal? Can you imagine, what would happen? How would we arrest this guy? How would we bring up charges against him? I mean, he's marshaling the military to oversee Washington, D.C. as we speak. So who's gonna come after him? Who's gonna make the call? So it's embarrassing him, other than maybe not, killing the Republican Party for years to come, killing the potential candidates that are siding with Trump right now, which is Vance, Rubio, and the like. It's dead on arrival, in my opinion. I don't think it goes anywhere. So I agree with the one caller who mentioned the co-sponsored bill by Ro Khanna and Massey coming back into session. I think they're going to try to, force their hand there. And of course, Mike Johnson's got to eventually face that down. So, what will be, other than, maybe Trump cuts a big bill to fight trafficking? How are we going to address what did took place for many decades under Epstein, and the amount of young female minds and lives that were just upended? And how do we stop more of that going forward, so that we can focus on these victims and not necessarily the personalities that may have had a hand in all that? So if Trump falls, everybody else falls. And I don't think those other folks want to fall in tandem with Trump, and therefore nothing's going to get found out. No, man.
Hey, Jane. A previous caller made some serious accusations about the relationship between Melania and Trump and how they met. She said that she was indentured servitude and all that kind of nonsense. And the reason I say nonsense is because while paying very close attention to what people were saying on stage, I was multitasking. And I can tell you that my sources are Vanity Fair, Politico.
Hey Jane, how are you doing? I'd like to read some poetry to you and Death Hippie, if I may.
All of them are in agreement that Melania Trump was introduced.
Okay, I'm just gonna end Gary's room then.
Hello, Jane.
Yeah, Jane. You're both great friends of mine. Death Hippie and I have been texting for how long now, Death? A year?
I have no idea. Maybe. Yeah, possibly. He's an encouragement.
Yeah, Death Hippie is struggling to get her ship and her rockets launched. Am I correct, Death?
Yes.
Well, I hope this poem reading helps launch your rocket and organize your organizing. What do you want to hear? Do you want to hear Rumi? Do you want to hear Lao Tzu? Do you want to hear maxims and aphorisms? What sounds good to you?
Rumi. I'll go with what Jane wants.
Rumi, is it?
Thanks, Steph.
No worries.
Okay. These are the quatrains. So part of this is a relaxation, meditation. Take the deepest breath of the day. When I am with you, we stay up all night. When you're not here, I can't go to sleep. Praise God for these two insomnias and the difference between them. When I die, lay out the corpse. You may want to kiss my lips, just beginning to decay, Don't be frightened if I open my eyes. This bleeding eventually stops. The wolf appears. We run off in different directions, with always some thought of how lucky we are. But nothing floats for long. Death floods in the mouth and the ear. Every head goes under and away. For years, copying other people, I tried to know myself. From within, couldn't decide what to do. Unable to see, I heard my name being called. Then I walked outside. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must always ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill, where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. Take someone who doesn't keep score, who's not looking to be richer or afraid of losing, who has not the slightest interest even in his own personality. He's free. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. I would love to kiss you. The price of kissing is your life. Now my loving is running toward my life, shouting, "What a bargain! Let's buy it." We have this way of talking, and we have another. Apart from what we wish and what we fear may happen, we are alive with other life, as clear stones take form in the mountain. Someone who goes with half a loaf of bread to a small place that fits like a nest around him. Someone who wants no more, who's not himself longed for by anyone else. He is a letter to everyone. You open it. It says, live. Who sees inside from outside? Who finds hundreds of mysteries, even where minds are deranged? See through his eyes what he sees. Who then is looking out from his eyes? The clear bread at the center changes everything. There are no edges to my loving now. I've heard it said there's a window that opens from one mind to another. But if there's no wall, there's no need for fitting the window or the latch. We take long trips. We puzzle over the meaning of a painting or a book, when what we're wanting to see and understand in this world, we are that. Welcome, Scott. We're reading Rumi. Does sunset sometimes look like the sun's coming up? Do you know what a faithful lover's like? You're crying. You say you've burned yourself, but can you think of anyone who's not hazy with smoke? Daylight, full of small dancing particles and one great turning, our souls are dancing with you. Without feet they dance. Can you see them when I whisper in your ear? They try to say what you are, spiritual or sexual. They wonder about Solomon and all his wives. In the body of the world, they say, there is a soul, and you are that. But we have ways within each other that will never be said by anyone. The human shape is a ghost, made of distraction and pain, sometimes pure light, sometimes cruel, trying wildly to open this image tightly held within self. Stay in the company of lovers, those other kinds of people that each want to show you something. A crow will lead you to an empty barn, a parrot to sugar. There is a light seed grain inside. You fill it with yourself, or it dies. I'm caught in this crawling energy. Your hair, whoever's calm and sensible, is insane. Don't think of good advice for me. I've tasted the worst that can happen. So they lock me somewhere, bound and gagged. They can't tie up this new love I have. You don't have bad days and good days. You don't sometimes feel brilliant and sometimes dumb. There's no studying, no scholarly thinking having to do with love. But there is a great deal of plotting and secret touching, and nights you can't remember it all. The Sufi opens his hands to the universe, gives away each instant free. Unlike someone who begs on the street for money to survive, a dervish begs to give you his life. There's a stranger frenzy in my head, birds flying, each particle circulating on its own. Is the one I love everywhere? They say that paradise will be perfect, with lots of clear white wine and all the beautiful women. We hold on to times like this then, since this is how it's going to be. Come to the orchard in spring. There is light and wine, sweethearts and the pomegranate flowers. If you do not come, these do not matter. If you do come, these do not matter. Pools apart. And the color of dying. You're the color of being born. Unless we breathe in each other, there can be no garden. So that's why plants grow and laugh at our eyes, which focus on distance. Think that you're gliding out from the face of the cliff like an eagle. Think you're walking like a tiger walks by himself in the forest. You're most handsome when you're after food. Spend less time with nightingales and peacocks. One is just a voice, the other just a color. For a while we lived with people, but we saw no sign in them of the faithfulness we wanted. It's better to hide completely within, as water hides in metal, as fire hides in a rock. The mystery does not get clearer by repeating the question, nor is it brought with going to amazing places. Until you've kept your eyes and you're wanting still for 50 years, you don't begin to cross over from confusion. Welcome, Howard. We're reading Rumi quatrains. The minute I'm disappointed, I feel encouraged. When I'm ruined, I'm healed. When I'm quiet and solid as the ground, then I talk the low tones of thunder for everyone. I drink stream water and the air becomes clearer, and everything I do. I become a water wheel, turning and tasting you, as long as water moves. In pain, I breathe easier. The scared child is running from the house, screaming. I hear the gentleness. Under 9 layers of illusion, whatever the light, on the face of any object, in the ground itself, I see your face. Today I am out wandering, turning my skull into a cup for others to drink wine from. In this town somewhere there sits a calm, intelligent man who doesn't know what he's about to do. I asked for 1 kiss, you gave me 6. Who was teacher is now student. Things good and generous take form in me, and the air is clear. I am insane, but they keep calling to me. No one here knows me, but no one chases me off. My job is to stay awake like the night watchman. When they're drunk enough, and it's late enough, they recognize me. They say, "There's daylight." During the day I was singing with you. At night we slept in the same bed. I wasn't conscious day or night. I thought I knew who I was, but I was you. Drinking wine with you, getting warmer and warmer. I think why not trade in this overcoat made of leaves and dirt? Then I look out the window. For what? Both worlds are here. Since we've seen each other, a game goes on. Secretly I move, and you respond. You are winning. You think it's funny. But look up from the board now. Look how I've brought in furniture to this invisible place, so we can live here. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. If you have any patience left, we know what to do. If you love sleep, we'll tear you away. If you change into a mountain, we'll melt you. If you become an ocean, we'll drain you. You say you have no sexual longing anymore. You're one with the one you love. This is dangerous. Don't believe that I have a love like that. If one day you see a picture of how you think, you'll hate yourself openly. I'm not talking out loud. I'm talking to the ears of your spirit. Remember what I've said. Tomorrow I'll say openly what I'm saying tonight. We've given up making a living. It's all this crazy love poetry now. It's everywhere. Our eyes and our feelings focus together with our words. We have a huge barrel of wine, but no cups. That's fine with us. Every morning we glow. In the evening, we glow again. They say there's no future for us. They're right, which is fine with us. Do you think I know what I'm doing? That for one breath, a half breath, I belong to myself? As much as a pen knows what it's writing, or the ball can guess what it's going next. Do not sit long with a sad friend. When you go to a garden, do you look at thorns and flowers? Spend more time with roses and jasmine. Inside the great mystery, that is. We don't really own anything. What is this competition we feel then, before we go one at a time through the same gate? We are the mirror as well as the face in it. We are tasting the taste this minute of eternity. We are pain and what cures pain. We are the sweet, cold water and the jar that pours. At night we fall into each other with such grace. When it's light you throw me back like you do your hair. Your eyes now drunk with God, mine with looking at you. One drunkard takes care of another. We are walking through a garden. Turn away for a minute. You're doing it again. You have my face here, but you look at flowers.